Ah, the exciting 1980s. A time when everything seemed to have its own special sparkle. Remember bright neon leggings, shiny cassette tapes, and iconic toys that made childhood magical? If you're an 80s kid, you probably have some of these nostalgic treasures tucked away. But did you know that these items could be worth a fortune today? In this video, we're unveiling things we had in the 1980s that are now highly sought-after collectibles. So, dust off those old boxes and let's take a trip down memory lane to discover the hidden gems that could make you rich. First on the list are Cabbage Patch Kids. Remember the 1980s Cabbage Patch Kids commercials? These dolls, with their unique round faces and woolly hair, became an overnight sensation in 1983, sparking a craze so intense that it led to the infamous Cabbage Patch Kid riots of 1983. Stores had to create long waiting lists to manage the crowds and prevent disputes among eager buyers, all vying to get their hands on these coveted dolls. Fast forward to today, and while new versions of these dolls can still be bought, the charm of the originals remains unmatched. Many collectors have preserved these first editions in excellent condition, turning them into valuable collectibles. Some of the rarest dolls, like Anne Greta and Teresa Ann, have even reached values of up to $2,500. Here's a fun fact. The original Cabbage Patch Kids were all hand-stitched, making each doll unique. This uniqueness added to their appeal and collectible value. Do you have any childhood treasures that have become valuable over time? Maybe it's time to check your attic. Your own collection could hold a hidden gem. Moving forward, the next item is the Nintendo 64. Remember the frenzy of the Nintendo 64 launch? Released in 1996, this console revolutionized the gaming world with its groundbreaking 3D graphics and addictive multiplayer games. Classics like Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time quickly became household names, cementing Nintendo's place as a titan in the gaming industry. The Nintendo 64 also introduced a unique controller with an analog stick, changing how games were played and providing an entirely new gaming experience. This innovation paved the way for modern gaming controllers and added to the console's legendary status. Here's the surprise. A brand new, never-opened Nintendo 64 can be worth a small fortune today. Some collectors are willing to pay up to $250,000 for one in mint condition. These unopened consoles aren't just gaming systems, they're pieces of gaming history. Special editions, like the Pikachu theme system, can also fetch impressive prices, sometimes listed for about $6,000. The value of these items can vary greatly. For instance, a sealed copy of Super Mario 64 once sold for an astonishing $1.56 million. This demonstrates the enormous impact of nostalgia and the rarity of finding such items in perfect condition. It's a testament to the enduring legacy of the Nintendo 64 and the cherished place in the hearts of gamers everywhere. After that, here comes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. This beloved franchise began in the 1980s and truly skyrocketed with the TV series in the 90s. From pizza-loving heroes in a half-shell to catchy theme songs, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, TMNT, captured the hearts of kids and adults alike. Back in the day, the original TMNT comics flew off the shelves and have since become treasures for serious collectors. While many of the TMNT comics might fetch just a bit more than their original price, certain editions are highly sought after and can command prices in the thousands. Particularly rare is the first print of comic number 1, which astonishingly sold for $91,000. This initial comic, created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, was a dark and gritty departure from the later, more family-friendly adaptations. The rarity and condition of these comics play a big role in their value, making pristine copies especially precious. But it's not just the comics that have become collector's items. Early action figures, especially those still in their original packaging, are also highly coveted. Characters like Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael, along with their foes like Shredder and Bebop, have become iconic. In mint condition, some of these figures can fetch impressive prices at auction. Have you checked your collection recently? You might be sitting on a gold mine. Those old TMNT treasures in your attic could be worth more than you think. Whether it's the comics, action figures, or even vintage merchandise, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles remain a nostalgic and valuable piece of pop culture history. Who remembers the Magic the Gathering card game from the 1980s? Though it technically debuted in 1993, this game swiftly became a global phenomenon, captivating millions with its complex gameplay and collectible cards. Have you ever heard of a card game that turned tabletop play into a worldwide sensation? Magic the Gathering has done just that, introducing countless unique cards and strategic possibilities. Among these, the most famous and coveted is the Black Lotus. This card is super rare. Only 1,100 were ever made in the first batch. Its power is legendary, capable of changing the outcome of the game by giving the player who has it a significant advantage. This is why it's called the Holy Grail of Magic cards, and why collectors all over the world are eager to get their hands on it. Just how valuable is it? Post Malone, the famous rapper and Magic enthusiast, once bought a Black Lotus card signed by the artist for more than $800,000. Another signed card sold for $615,000 at an auction. These astronomical prices reflect the card's scarcity and the high demand among collectors, especially if it bears the signature of the artist, Christopher Rush. Collecting Magic cards can be an exhilarating experience because you never know what treasures you might uncover. Whether it's a rare card from the early sets or a prized possession from a later edition, each card tells a story and holds a piece of gaming history. What's the most special card you hope to get someday? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, let's talk about some cool vintage Barbie dolls. Did you know that since Barbie was first introduced in 1959, she has become more than just a toy? Barbie has evolved into a cultural icon with countless special editions that have captured the hearts of collectors worldwide. From her debut in a black and white striped swimsuit to her numerous career-themed incarnations, Barbie's always been a symbol of fashion and empowerment. Vintage Barbies from the late 50s and early 60s are particularly sought after, and those kept in mint condition can be worth over $25,000. These early dolls, with their iconic features and classic outfits, are prized by collectors for their historical significance and nostalgic value. But the collectible world of Barbie doesn't stop there. The holiday Barbies, released between 1988 and 1992, also hold significant value. These festive dolls, when found in top condition, typically sell for between $70 and $200. However, if you have one of these holiday Barbies still in its original box, it could fetch around $1,000. The packaging and condition play a huge role in determining the value, making unopened dolls highly prized. Barbie's appeal stretches across generations, with some collectors focusing on specific eras or types of dolls. Whether it's the glamour of the 1960s Barbies, the vibrant and colorful 1980s editions, or the modern collector's editions, there's a Barbie for everyone. Now, here comes the most precious 1980s thing in this video. This is not a car or a ring, but just a nostalgic Pikachu card. Did you know about one of the rarest Pokemon cards in the world? It's called the Pikachu Illustrator Card, and it's super special. Only 39 of these cards were ever made. They were given out in 1998 as prizes in a Pokemon drawing contest in Japan. What makes this card extra cool is its artwork. Pikachu is shown holding a paintbrush, which is different than most Pokemon cards. This unique artwork by Atsuka Nishida, one of the original Pokemon designers, adds to its allure and desirability. This card is so rare and loved that it's a dream for Pokemon card collectors. In fact, the Pikachu Illustrator Card set a huge record. It's the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold. Influencer Logan Paul bought one of these cards for a massive $5,275,000. He got it by trading another card worth $1.275 million and adding $4 million in cash. This big purchase shows how important and famous this card is in the world of Pokemon. The Pikachu Illustrator Card isn't just a piece of cardboard. It's a piece of Pokemon history. Its value has skyrocketed over the years due to its rarity, unique artwork, and the story behind it. For many collectors, owning this card is the ultimate dream. Have you watched Stranger Things? If so, you've probably seen the characters playing Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons, often abbreviated as D&D, is more than just a game in Stranger Things. It's a gateway to adventure, imagination, and camaraderie. First released in 1974, D&D quickly became a cornerstone of geek culture, especially during the late 70s and 80s. The game's popularity soared as it captured the hearts of countless players who embarked on epic quests in fantastical realms. For collectors, original D&D items like cards, dice, books, and figures are treasures. These pieces can fetch a few $100, but the real jackpot is the original box set from 1974. Only 1,000 of these sets were made, and they can sell for over $6,000 if they're in mint condition. These early editions are highly prized not just for their rarity, but also for their place in the history of gaming, marking the start of what would become a worldwide phenomenon. The appeal of D&D lies in its ability to bring people together through shared storytelling and creativity. Each game session is a unique experience, guided by the player's imaginations and the roll of the dice. The game's cultural impact is immense, influencing not just other tabletop games, but also video games, books, and films. This connection between a beloved TV show and a classic game highlights how pastimes from decades ago can remain relevant and exciting today. Moving next, we have TMNT Scratch the Cat action figure. Scratch the Cat is one of the most unique and hardest to find Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures ever produced. As a villain in the TMNT universe, Scratch stands out with its distinctive jailbird outfit, complete with a ball and chain. This figure was made in very limited numbers and came out late in the TMNT toy line's life, which means not many were produced. At that time, fewer stores were carrying TMNT toys, so even fewer Scratch figures made it to shelves. This rarity makes Scratch the Cat extremely valuable among collectors. A figure in mint condition once sold for as much as $4,750. On eBay, some listings even reach up to $79.99. The high demand and limited availability keep driving up its price. Collectors often say that timing is everything, and Scratch the Cat is a perfect example. Released at a time when the TMNT toy line was winding down, his scarcity has turned him into a sought-after gem in the world of action figures. The limited production run and the end of the toy line's popularity meant that fewer Scratch figures were made, making those that did survive in mint condition incredibly valuable. Think about how the timing of a release can impact a toy's rarity and value. Now you might be thinking, oh, if only I'd kept some of my childhood toys, I could have been a millionaire now. Let's talk about one more console, the Game Boy, released back in 1989. The Nintendo Game Boy was a game changer in the world of handheld gaming. Initially priced at around $84.40, it brought portable gaming to the masses and became a beloved device for kids and adults alike. Its popularity soared with games like Tetris and Super Mario Land, making it a must-have gadget of the era. Fast forward to today, and some gamers have managed to sell their old Game Boy consoles for over $379. But it's the special editions of the Game Boy that really fetch high prices. One such special edition is the Game Boy Light, an upgraded version of the Game Boy Pocket. It was released exclusively in Japan in 1998. However, its release was closely followed by the Game Boy Color just a few months later, making the Game Boy Light rare because not many were sold. Today, some of these Game Boy Light consoles have been sold for more than $620, but the rarity and value don't stop there. Limited editions and special releases like the gold and silver Pokemon-themed Game Boy Color can also fetch high prices. These editions were often produced in small quantities, making them highly sought after by collectors. The rapid evolution of gaming technology and limited releases can make certain consoles very valuable. The nostalgia factor plays a big role too, as many people look to recapture a piece of their childhood by collecting these iconic devices. And there you have it, the coolest 1980s console and a trip down memory lane. Did any of these collectibles bring back memories or surprise you with their current value? We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this nostalgic journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more blasts from the past and amazing classic discoveries. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and share it with your fellow 80s enthusiasts. Until next time, keep reminiscing and cherishing those sweet memories.